let's take this time an opportunity to talk about Alexis Mac Allister, because again, it probably a little bit understated a little bit, but like, I was going to say he's the unsung hero of the season, but like, he's got a song now, so he's actually getting sung about him. But he's a magnificent player, and he feels like in the Salah, Van Dijk-ness of it all, Alisson, the worldie the other day in PSG, Alexis Mac Allister has just been going about his business, doing whatever job needed for the team. Again, he didn't get on the score sheet. You won't look at the stat sheet at the weekend and go, Alexis was massively involved, but I thought he was brilliant when he come on.
He was. He can totally control the game, I thought. And there have been times in the past when the only time you noticed him was when he was on the ground, which he was like 5 or 6 times a game. I'm not saying that he wasn't playing really well in those games, but he's been the quiet midfielder for us. He's the one who goes about his work, and it's just not flashy. You don't really know. You notice Szoboszlai running. Yeah. You notice Curtis holding the ball up. You notice Gravenberch's turn and his run. Mac Allister just gets on with his job, and you don't really take much notice. But on Saturday, it was so evident that once he was on the pitch, the ball was his. And he was controlling everything we did. It was fantastic. The
manager said, Ian, afterwards, he went, yeah, Robbo full of energy, Harvey full of energy. He went, and you can just tell why Mac Allister's a World Cup winner. He just looked that level. He should be playing against Southampton. This is what this should have looked like. But he comes on, he kept winning the ball back, but most importantly, you need someone to set the tempo. And every time it was into Mac Allister, it was one touch and out. Wherever it was going, it didn't matter. There were like 3, 4, 5 touches. Everything was just moving. He just comes across as such an intelligent footballer. He knows exactly what the game needs and when it needs it. I thought, like I say, all season he's been like this. He hasn't really played badly all year. He's having a massive impact on this team.
He's the Ronnie Whelan of now, I think. He clever people realise how good he is, and he just because he's not there scoring 30 yarders and doing the Trent passes and that, he's the engine, and like Gravenberch does all the defensive side of stuff, and he can turn with the ball, and he does all that great. Mac Allister does absolutely everything. He can tackle, he pops up with a goal, and he's there if things aren't going right in midfield. He's shouting and he's like a captain in midfield. He's like a Virgil van Dijk in midfield. He runs that midfield for us.
That's true. I mean, I felt sorry for him at first, because last season he was forced to play as a number 6. And then when towards the end of the season he played more or less as a 10 and looked fantastic, I thought, well, it's a shame that he's not playing as a number 10. He's so good there, and he was stuck, in whatever position it is, an 8 or something. I thought, poor sod, he must be really annoyed. He's been moved into this sort of position, and then I started watching him, and you realise that he's thriving in that position.
It's what I mean, where like he's relatively young, but he's been around the block. He's won a World Cup, and not many bad players do that, but it just looks like he dragged the team along with him, because like I say, he doesn't come across, I might be wrong, like the most vocal lad, the big like screaming shouter, but it just felt like Arne Slot said, listen, we need to up this tempo, and when you see your mate doing it, you have to do it as well. Yeah. If you're popping one touch passes off and then someone else is dilly-dallying on the ball, like that's not going to happen. Everyone kind of follows your lead, and it felt like they all followed Mac Allister's lead.
He's one of them players as well that other players knows how good he is. Like, there's a reason he gets fouled about 25 times a game. It's like he's always on the floor. There's somebody always there trying to kick him, trying to get to him, trying to stop him. And that's because the people on who he's playing against know how good he is. If you can stop Mac Allister, I think there's a little... You blunt our bleed a little bit.
He always goes with the battles are as well. He doesn't shirk fights,
It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence he's always where the ball is, or where there's a bouncing ball or something as well. He's always in and around. It's interesting because in this game, again, Liverpool on the back foot, so his position was actually very high and very high left. But that isn't only a positive in terms of keeping the ball and playing it, which he did. He was winning it back up there as well. Southampton were really struggling to get out. The second goal, the manager said, comes because Gravenberch goes in as well. Like, it felt like Mac Allister was really, let's go, lads, let's squeeze.
And that's a lot of what our game is. It was under Klopp, and it is now under Slot, is winning the ball back high up. There was very little of that in the first half. In fact, there was none of it. I'm pretty sure where's our press? It's non-existent. If our press isn't there, we don't look anywhere near as good. Mac Allister comes in, and like you said, if people are seeing Mac Allister press high up, then you just can't just stand back and watch. They've got to go and do exactly the same.
Yeah, it's interesting, because we're going to get to the end of the season. Again, I go back to it, I'd be shocked now. I think everyone except Liverpool are probably going to be Premier League champions. You're going to be looking like Premier League team of the years. And we know Salah will be in it, and we know Van Dijk will be in it. And you'll be looking across the whole Liverpool team, and like, Mac Allister should be in that as well. Yeah. Gravenberch, I think, will be in it. I think most, but like, I go back to it, there are fans of other clubs and maybe other teams who are looking at other midfielders, and there's some really good ones about, but I don't know, I might be wrong, and I consume a lot of football media, part of my job, but also I quite enjoy watching and listening to other stuff. I'm not hearing many conversations about how good Alexis Mac Allister's been this year. There's been a lot about the others, but he's been right up there in terms of Liverpool's best players. As an aside, for example, SofaScore, the stats website, have him ranked as one of our second best player in terms of average games. He's constantly at 7, 8, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, he's just so reliable. You know what he's bringing, and it's a lot of energy, fight, determination, but class. He can pass the football. You know, he's really brilliant on the ball, and he can play anywhere in midfield. We've seen it. We've seen him play every position and play it well. And as I said before, he's somehow got the quiet role because it's not very flashy, and people don't really notice him in most games. But if you do watch him, you see that he's controlling a lot of what we do.
Surprisingly good.
I mean, it's no coincidence that Diaz had such a great second half with Mac Allister behind him.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned Ronnie Whelan. There's a comparison before. I was on the show at the weekend, John with Errol, and he said like Gini Wijnaldum was a little bit like this, like understated, but like always winning the ball back, always doing the right things, and can chip in with the odd goal as well. That feels like a nice comparison. Maybe just, yeah, there's actually quite a lot of similarities between the two of them. Both tenacious, both just kind of know the job and get on with it. And when they're not in the team, like he wasn't in the first half, you certainly missed them.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, the Gini Wijnaldum one's interesting, really. I mean, I think he held the ball up a lot more than Mac Allister does. Mac Allister moves the ball a lot better. Yeah. But the comparison about winning the ball and shielding it and holding it, yeah. And the odd goal here and there, the crucial goals sometimes. I think Gini was probably better at that than almost anyone, though. Getting those really special goals. And if Mac Allister can add that would be great. Absolutely.
He's already got a few this year if he can carry on. But yeah, I just thought, nice little time to give Alexis his props there. Long may continue because he's very much helping Liverpool march on towards silverware at the end of the season.